Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Good Time Movie Reviews. I'm Wyatt. That's JP. Today, we are talking about Celine Song's The Materialists. I saw this a week ago. This is her second
I
feature
think
film
second.
behind Past Lives. This is her follow
Mhm.
up to Past Lives. Again, it's a romantic dramedy. You can maybe throw in a little bit of comedy in there, but I would say definitely more just romantic drama
Yeah.
than
Yep.
anything. Starring Pedro Pascal, Dakota Johnson, and Chris Evans. JP, I want your thoughts first. To be honest,
I saw it opening night with my parents. Um, and I will be honest, not what is being advertised. It's very different. The trailer that is playing like Madonna's Material Girl over it, and it's like, ooh, who's she gonna choose? Not that. That's not what this movie is.
mm-hmm.
But it does have like top 10 A24 openings in the box office. It's like number 6 or something. Like it's up there. So it worked. And I think the same is going to be happening with 28 years later. But that's a separate, like,
Yeah,
in terms of like how movies are marketed right now, I have way too many hot takes. That's not what we're here to talk about. The movie itself, I really liked. I was very surprised by. I do understand a lot of the critiques of it. But I think it's trying to do something very interesting. It's a little clunky in terms of pacing and runtime, but other than that, I thought it was really well made.
okay. Yeah, I think a lot of our discussion is probably going to be around what other people are saying about this movie. There's a
Mhm.
lot of online discourse, and I'm guessing I see a different side of it too because I am actively on TikTok quite a bit, and I see a lot of people discussing this movie. A lot of people really don't like this movie, and they find it
Yeah,
like offensive, which is not what I came away
that
from. Yeah,
that I don't get. Yeah,
yeah.
people are saying it's like right-wing propaganda or
Poor man propaganda.
blue collar poor man propaganda, and it's like first off, most movies are about the underdog. So of course the poor guy is going to be a rich, like not rich, a hot Chris Evans.
Yeah,
Like that, like I go into movies knowing that's what's going to happen because the underdogs, you want to root for them. That's just how movies are.
yeah.
I don't understand how that's a bad thing. And the
It's
whole, oh,
yeah.
it's conservative propaganda. I don't understand what that point is at all. Because the first half of this movie, we live in this, maybe because it's anti-New York. I don't know.
Yeah.
We live in this very plastic world of romance and marriages where, and I think the dialogue in this movie is like so good, where Pedro Pascal asks Dakota Johnson, "Oh, so do you know a lot about love being a matchmaker?" And she's like, "I know a lot about dating." It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what this movie is attacking. This very surface level modern dating is horrible. And it's saying like love, like you can't calculate it. And it's
Can't
like
check. It's not
if that
checking
came out,
boxes. Yeah.
if this movie came out in the 90s, it would still be saying that. So this whole, oh, it's conservative anti-New York propaganda. No, it's just that people are fake as hell. And this movie's like, that's not worth it. So,
Yeah, I just
yeah.
it felt like a very simple movie in terms of like theme of like love isn't
Yeah.
checking
Yeah.
boxes. It's more nuanced than that. Sometimes it's more than
Yeah.
just the material things. And like I feel like people are searching for more and like trying to like dig too deep. And like it's I don't know, it's just not it's a fine movie. I had fun with
I
it.
I
It's
think it's
okay.
I think it's the opposite where people wanted a simple rom-com and this is
Okay.
not a rom-com at all.
Fair.
So people are a little butthurt that they were misled in the marketing, which I honestly perfectly understand. I think this movie will be way better for those people on rewatch. Knowing what it is going in, I think they will have a much better time.
Gotcha. I think the one argument that I'm hating is a lot of people are saying like, "Oh, it's so unrealistic. It's not pragmatic enough for her to choose Chris Evans." And just like you said, like it's a movie.
Yeah.
Like it's a movie.
Oh,
Like
yeah. Yeah.
since when are we do we want movies to be the most realistic display of like what she would actually do? Cuz like we want to idealize and
Yeah.
romanticize things in movies. That's the point of going to the movies in my opinion, like to feel this like
Yeah.
higher level of emotion. And I don't know, I
Yeah.
hate like, oh, it's not realistic enough that she would do that. It's like who cares? It's a movie. I just
I
like
will say, yeah, ever since like the 1970s, that's been a thing in especially movies and TV is it's not real enough. That's from the 70s, where it's like the 60s was the end of like the studio Hollywood era where rose-colored glasses and everything. Musicals were like, I'm going to sing about this girl even though she's married to another guy. And if I sing hard enough, she'll love me. And even though I'm broke, we'll live happily ever after. It's like, but wait, you're broke and now she doesn't have a place to live and all that stuff. Like old Hollywood movies were like that's not important. Look, they kiss, it's happy ever after. In the 70s, because it was the 70s, it's like, well, no, like we don't want to tell those stories. We want to tell realistic stories. Like cops are racist, the government is spying on you, like all that stuff. We're still in that era of, oh, well, movies have to be real.
yeah.
But that's not what a rom-com is.
Yeah.
But also this is not a
Not a
rom-com. So
rom-com, yeah.
it's very much like it is trying to give an honest approach at how modern dating is overhyped, surface level. It has to be perfect. It's approaching that very earnestly, but it also is like in the skin of a rom-com. Like New York looks gorgeous. Every character talks perfectly and they like stand for different things in the argument. Rom-coms do argue about love, every single one of them. And this one's trying to do that as well, but not in a comedic way, in a more dramatic way with that C plot line that I do kind of want to talk about later.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
That it's like once it ends with a very rom-com thing of the rose-colored glasses happy ending, it's no longer in that plastic world. Like that first wedding we go to, pretty much everyone's white and pretty and young. The second they leave New York, or the second like later in the movie, the couples you see look different.
Yeah.
They're balding, they're short, they're fat, they're gay, they're black. Like it's that plasticity in the beginning is very intentional. It's like what TikTok wants you to think you want your wedding to be. And later on, it's like, well, these people look more in love than the people we saw at the beginning. That we had to convince them to marry this dude because he checks all the boxes. These people are getting married at a barn, which is like in Midwest, that's what you do.
Yeah.
But like in New York, maybe that's like, oh, what a weirdo.
Yeah.
But it's the couples at the end of the movie look different than the couples at the beginning of the movie, and that is what the movie is trying to say. If you look for
Yeah.
looks, you're not going to be in love.
That's a great point. That's something like
Yeah.
I didn't really pick up on that first time through. I do
Yeah.
think I made a mistake but heading into this movie because the day before I went to see this, I watched Past Lives. And I
Yeah.
think that's a
Yeah.
mistake because first
Yeah.
of all, I think Past Lives is a masterpiece. I love Past
Yeah.
Lives. I swear by that movie. And you can maybe push back, you might push back on this a little bit. For me, this movie, The Materialist, felt like an attempt by Celine Song to make a version of Past Lives that was more universally digestible. And that's like kind of my nice way of saying a dumbed down version of Past Lives in the sense where it's a little more on the
Yeah.
nose. It's a little less subtle.
Yes.
Past Lives is
Yes.
an
Yeah.
incredibly quiet, like subtle movie that you just like
Yeah.
you're kind of sitting in it for a little bit. This one
Yeah.
isn't that. So I
Yeah.
think unfortunately I came into this movie with a comparison mindset of like I
Hmm.
just watched Past Lives. How does this hold up? Which is not fair to Materialists because
No, it is not.
I would not want to hold any movie to that
Yes.
standard.
Yeah.
But that is like, and I think that's why I'm lower on this movie than I would have been if I hadn't watched Past Lives before. And so like I'm still wrestling with this movie a little bit in my head, but that was my mindset coming in.
Yeah.
How would you say this stacks up in comparison though to a Past Lives?
So, um, past lives. I I'm not the best at like romance movies.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of those movies people really resonate with because it brings up memories and stuff. That doesn't happen for me. So past lives I watched and people were like, "Oh my gosh, heartbreaking, this and that, and this and that." And I had a relationship that was like this and that and that. And I'm sitting there, it's like I don't. But so I was like not lukewarm on past lives. I watched it and it's like there's a lot of good stuff in this. I just can't connect with it. Watching Materialists, I'm sitting there, it's like, okay, Past Lives is way better than I ever thought it was. It's weird watching one movie from a director, like say going to see Alex Garland's Civil War this year, or Warfare this year.
Yeah.
And like after that movie ends, it's like I like this, but now I know why the movie they made before is good. Like I
Yeah.
like Civil War because I saw Warfare. I love Past Lives because I saw Materialists. It really
Interesting.
like let me know what Celine Song is trying to do, and it's like, oh, okay, I get it now. Yeah, yeah,
That's so interesting to like contextualize an all like a director's work based off like recontextualize their past work based off
yeah.
new movie, which like
There's some
yeah,
filmmakers that make it really easy. Alex Garland especially, and a little bit Wes Anderson right now because he's on a roll. So
yeah.
there's some filmmakers that have like eras, like certain periods, that make it pretty fun to like watch in certain blocks, to compare
But
them.
how much of the of an audience for a movie is taking that into consideration? That has to be a
Right
very
now,
small percent, right?
very small. I would say in the 90s and the 2000s, a huge chunk.
Okay.
Like when rom-coms were like big, the casting explained the whole movie. Like
Yeah.
people loved rewatching rom-coms. And so it's like, oh, we're gonna get Matthew McConaughey for this one. It's like, okay, I know what it is. We're gonna get Reese Witherspoon for this one. It's like, I know what this movie's gonna be. Like Tina Fey's involved. Oh, got it. Like who is involved for certain genres, especially rom-coms and like horror and right now maybe like stunt movies, like Ballerina is like who's really directing the movie because it's not this guy. Um, who's involved is very much like people know. And I would say
Mhm.
more people knew in the 90s and the 2000s because of DVD rentals and rewatching stuff. Nowadays, we're kind of, because people watch TV more, it's harder to do that. We're just out of practice. But
Gotcha.
people still kind of see it that way.
Yeah. So like nowadays, do you think it's more important? What puts people in seats more? The team behind it, like the director or even like a studio, like you look at Marvel or the bigger studios, or is it the cast? Like it's the cast of a whole. How does like that dynamic work?
It, the cast is not as influential as it used to be.
Okay, that's what I was
Same
kind of.
with studios, same with the directors. It's I we're getting into the marketing and
Yeah,
it's like
we can do a full separate episode this week if
there's
you want to just like rant
yeah,
about this stuff if you want.
there's no the my big rant is there's no like cash cow in terms of the marketing anymore. There's no like solid, reliable strategy. Like the new Pixar movie, they're putting the commercial on ESPN. YouTube ads for YouTube Kids, all that. They're putting it in the right spots. It's going to have the lowest debut in Pixar history.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, they kind of put it on the sacrificial chopping block to pitch Lilo and Stitch. Disney did. So they pushed the marketing later than they should have. Um, and there's all that stuff. But it's like trailers and commercials don't work anymore in terms of getting butts and seats.
Hmm.
Casting doesn't really work either. The only exceptions are well, a little bit Tom Cruise with Top Gun Maverick. Sometimes Brad Pitt, Timothy Chalamet. Like it very few exceptions.
Yeah.
And we're like over showing Pedro Pascal. He's in so many things that
Thing.
people are like, another one. So it's the cast doesn't really work anymore. The director sometimes, like
Hmm.
Jordan Peele has a lot of pull. This new Him movie people are talking about. I think Ryan Coogler will have influence on the box office for his next movie. He will.
Yeah.
But studio's a little bit Disney, like, okay, I'll take my kid to a Disney movie.
Yeah.
A24 for a certain group, super loyal, but recently I feel like they're kind of selling out. They're making too many movies, they're raising the budgets, so their quality is dipping. Um yeah,
Yeah.
it the marketing people are trying and there's no real strategy anymore. So sometimes it
That's
sounds like it's going to work and it just doesn't.
that's so interesting because you would think, all right, if there's no like guaranteed cash cow, like this is going to work, you would think the solution is let's just make the best movie possible and then word of mouth will support it. But then,
Thunderbolts
like,
didn't
yeah,
work.
even because movies don't
Yeah.
have the lifespan anymore. I just feel like the
Yeah.
lifespan of a movie is so much shorter where it has to hit now and make a shit ton of money
Yes.
now or it's
Weekend
not going
one.
to. Yeah.
Yep.
Which
Yep.
is, yeah. So again, there's no,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a very interesting point.
Yep.
We'll zero back in on Materialists here.
Yes.
Let's talk about the big three here in terms of acting performances. I personally, I have a soft spot for Dakota Johnson. A lot of people hate her acting. I just like her as a person, so I'm biased there. Um, Pedro Pascal, we've talked about, is a little just everywhere. It's almost too much. I think he's fine in
Hmm.
this. I don't have a problem
I
with
think he's
him.
good.
Yeah,
Yep.
I really like Chris Evans in this, in the sense where it feels like Chris Evans is trying, and it feels
Yeah.
like a lot
Yeah.
of times Chris Evans doesn't try,
He's
and he's signing
he's
onto a
back to
project that,
trying.
yeah,
Yep.
which is good. I like when Chris
Yep.
Evans tries, and so I think he was probably the standout for me, just in terms of like what I'm used to seeing from him the last decade, which is
Oh,
wild.
I think Dakota Johnson is the standout in this.
Really?
Because there's not here's the thing about this movie that I do kind of agree with in terms of the critics. There's not like a lot of screen time for all these characters. It's a weird ratio of what we're
Mhm.
focusing on. And we focus on Dakota Johnson the entire time.
Yeah.
And I honestly think, I'm trying to think of her whole career. This is my favorite performance from her.
Cha Cha
She
Real
has a
Smith is my
very
favorite.
okay.
I
She has
love
a
her.
very specific range and it is clear this script was written for her. Like we need a confident, independent, attractive woman that moves through life like a robot. That's what we need. That's Dakota Johnson to a T.
Mhm.
Um, like she is like very much muscle memory, a drone for this company. And the way Dakota Johnson delivers lines, it like the script was written for her. And I think Celine Song is an amazing director for actors. She
Yeah.
knows like which actor needs to go in what role and how to put them in front of the camera for exactly the right like the hand acting in this movie so fucking good. the the directing is amazing. So it's I have some qualms with the script, but I think Celine Song is an amazing director. She knows exactly what to do with the actors and all the actors are great, but I think Dakota Johnson is like the real standout in this.
Nice. And let's kind of talk about those qualms you might have with the
Yeah.
script in terms
Yep.
what's that first one that kind of sticks out in your mind?
So that the big reveal, I say the C plot. So in my head, um, the A plot is Dakota Johnson and Chris Evans, which is weird because like the first half of the movie, not a lot of screen time given to it. The
Mhm.
B plot is Pedro Pascal. He's thrown into the back really quickly, kind of
Yeah.
surprisingly. The C plot is, I think her name is Sophie,
I don't remember.
the the girl that's paying for Dakota Johnson to find her a match. Something happens, and it's very clear the second that is revealed, this is not a rom-com.
Mhm.
This movie is trying to tackle very serious things, and it hijacks the entire movie for about, I would say this movie's not super long. It's on the long end for a romantic movie. I would say 35 minutes of this movie, roughly, are hijacked by this C plot, which is a crazy amount of time. We spend a lot of time on it, as
Yeah.
we should, because it's super serious what they're trying to tackle. It just comes out of left field. I
Yeah.
think intentionally. So that what you think of that C plot of Sophie and what happens to her, that will make or break the movie for you. If you wanted to go in for like if you took a date to this movie as like a first
Yeah.
date, I don't know if that would have been a good first date movie.
Yeah, that's a great point.
It's so it's because of this C plot. If you're like, oh, that's interesting, you're gonna like the movie, and I did, so I liked it.
Yeah.
If you're like, what the hell, I came for a rom com, you're not walking out happy. I
Yeah.
think it's that plot.
There's something I'm thinking about right now that I didn't think about before is there's two big plot twists in this movie. One,
Yes, yeah,
incredibly serious subject matter and
yeah.
needs to be taken incredibly seriously. And the other one, probably intentional, is on the other end of that spectrum where it's a kind
Hmm.
of superficial surgery to make you taller.
Yes,
Like,
yes,
and so I think you
yeah,
compare those two where it's like this doesn't matter. It does, and like it's not. It's trivial compared to some of the real problems that people are dealing with. And but I don't
yeah,
know. I'm comparing the two in my head where I'm like, those were the two big, oh shit, didn't see that coming moments in the movie,
yeah.
and then you
I
feel
I think
weird like talking about the
I
surgery.
think the conversation. I think that surgery scene. That scene is like my second favorite scene in the whole movie. It's you're right, it is trivial, it is superficial, but the fact that, like, Celine Song puts in the script that, like, it actually kinda works.
Yeah.
It's super like, there's nuance to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like, "Oh, you're an idiot," like, the fact that he actually his life is different, not only in romance, but at work.
Yeah, his life's
Like,
better.
just
Just his life is
his
better.
his life is better. He had the money to pay for a cheat code, and it worked because that's the world we live in. Is like really well done, and I liked it, but again, it's not even like it's one of the more comedic scenes, but it's still not laugh out loud. It's nuanced, it's heartfelt, it's kind of honest. I think it's very well done, and I like that it's in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. It's like all these choices that she's doing in the script, I understand. I agree with. They make sense. Put them all together, and it's like, I think it's just the pacing.
Yeah.
The pacing is rough in this movie. It's a slow, it's on the longer end. It's like 2 hours. Like today, that's nothing. But for like a romantic, fun, go to the movie, that's like 30 minutes too long.
Mm-hmm.
And there are scenes where I'm sitting there and it's like that was a good line to end the scene on, and the scene keeps going, All of these scenes are longer than they would be if it came out in the 2000s by
Yeah.
a good like 2 minutes. And it's interesting to be like, oh, we're still at the restaurant. We're still talking about this. It's interesting that she is like breaking down this genre. Um, but in terms of like a first watch, it's a little not abrasive, but it's a little awkward.
Yeah, that's
And
a
there
great way to
there are
put it.
there are things that I feel like should have been cut out. I love the opening scene. I love
Mm,
the caveman. That
yeah.
that I was that's honestly my favorite. That's my favorite scene in the movie. It's a great
Yeah.
way to open this. We don't have to go back to them.
Yo, you didn't like that? I
No,
liked
no, we
it. It
don't need
worked for
that.
me. It worked for me. I liked it.
But like it goes from that we go back to them and then it goes to that shot of the museum. Chris Evans walking in front of the museum and there's billboards of cavemen. That's all we needed. That's the only amount of callback we needed. And then he goes into like the nature park. Like the way Celine Song uses in both past lives and this movie parks and architecture and sculpture and
Mhm.
artwork as like the backdrop to represent where the characters are in their journey. Fantastic. It's so good. It's better in past lives. She
Mhm.
really uses sculpture in a way I've never seen before. And this movie using nature versus like the concrete jungle of like New York, really, really interesting. I just think the movie's a little too long and a little too slow.
Yeah. I think yeah, I need to think about this movie a little bit more just because again, I came in
Mhm.
with a comparison mindset and I did unfortunately came out I came out of the theater thinking this might be a step back for Celine Song. And now even talking with you now, I realize that's not the
Yeah.
case, but it's just a part of kind of her process as a filmmaker, which is very interesting. And the more we've talked about it,
Yeah.
the more I think I've appreciated just in this conversation. Um,
It's worth chewing on. It's worth
yeah,
a rewatch. I think I will defend this movie. It has faults.
mhm,
I will defend it though. Yeah.
yeah. What would you score this movie? Where would you put it
Uh,
at?
I think I gave it a I don't know if I gave it a 6 or a 7. Hang on.
I'm
Let me double
hovering
check.
like I'm hovering like mid 70s for me. This conversation has boosted its score, to be honest, which is why I like scoring after we have these conversations. Makes me think about the movie a little bit more and less reactionary. Because if I scored this leaving the
Yeah.
theater, it's probably pretty low, unfortunately. Um,
I gave
I'll
it a 7.
okay. I'm
I
gonna
gave
go
it
at
a 7 because of her directing and the visuals and the nuance she is approaching the weird quirks of modern dating. She's trying to do a lot of things. Um, so if the editing was cleaner, if the movie was a little faster, because the dialogue's great, it's just maybe if we set him a little faster, I don't know. If we like condensed it to a much more, I don't want to say bite size, but much quicker, efficient process, and like cut out maybe one or two scenes, um, it would be an 8.
all right.
It would be great. Um, but
Yeah,
it's a
I'm
little
probably
awkward in the energy.
I'm probably in the mid sevens or like 7.5, 7.6 area.
Mhm.
Um, Will so the next one we'll probably do. I will try to watch 28. It's 28 years later is the one that just
28
came.
years.
I will
Yeah.
try to watch that soon, so hopefully we can talk about that. Maybe give you an opportunity to rant about some more marketing stuff if off the dome.
Yeah.
Unless you
Yeah.
feel like you got it out. What are you working on right now? Do you want to talk about that for a quick second? Because you're busy right
Sure.
now. I feel like that'd be cool.
Yeah,
That's cool to talk about. Might as well.
yeah, I'm up north in the Fort Wayne, Kendallville area filming. I'm like a assistant camera on like a show right now. It's like the producer who I went to film camp with in high school. So that's how I got the job. He he's pitching it as Trailer Park Boys meets Breaking Bad. It's really fun. I'm getting some great footage out of it. The DP and I are doing really good work. It's a lot of fun. I have no idea when it's going to come out. It's
Yeah.
going to be a show. It's a show. So it's going to be
Awesome.
5 episodes. We have one more week of filming. So we're halfway through production. Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
I have no idea
Well,
when it's going to come out, but
yeah,
if you
that's
follow
exciting.
me on social media,
Mhm.
I will be talking about it endlessly when it
Yes.
comes out. So,
So go follow JP. Thank you guys for watching this review. Let us know your thoughts on this movie. This
yeah.
feels like a fairly divisive movie, which I wasn't honestly anticipating, but I would love to
Yeah,
hear
yeah.
people's thoughts.
I was not
Um,
expecting that.
yeah, but let us know your
Yeah.
thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Peace.